iCkEdMeL is a true crime YouTube superstar with over 200,000 subscribers and 53 million views. Mel joins us to talk about how he got started on YouTube, how he found his niche, his amazing community, and where he plans to take the channel in the future. Join us for this exclusive Advertising Week creator interview with iCkEdMeL.
Let's talk about some of your favorite all-time moments. It could be, they could be crazy chases, it could be cases, call-ins. Like, are there any, if you could come up with a few memories that are really special from the channel, what would you say are top of mind?
There's been so many. I mean, at the top, I would say probably Johnny Depp, that trial, the clips, the moments. It was really, really, really funny. Even my daughter was sometimes saying some of the phrases from Johnny Depp, like Mr. Rottenborn. Chases.
Gosh, I missed that so much. I was actually in Portugal watching your channel during that. So like the time difference was weird, but it would be like in the afternoon that I could start watching it, and I'd like walk around, and it's like the intersection of Hollywood and real life, right? Right. But there wasn't like murder, so it wasn't, it wasn't like really dark, and people thought Amber was lying or Johnny was lying. I think that's my all-time favorite too.
That I don't know if we'll ever get another trial like that again. Like, that's almost like a once in a lifetime. It was just so much funny moments, and like you said, it wasn't a murder thing, and it was an interesting thing because you don't really see men accuse or come up and accuse or defend themselves against a woman allegedly hitting them or abusing them. So that was one of my top moments. Definitely, there's been so many chases. There was one that I think of a lot where the guy was doing nitrous oxide, like a canister of nitrous oxide. He's looking into the helicopter camera, just
doing whippets,
like doing whippets, dodging the cop car somehow, and then like it ends off at a like a cul-de-sac or some type of like dead end,
right by the river, right? Like kind of by
the river. The river. There you go. And he just sat there, it was like lasted hours. Like, my mother had come over to do something, and I was supposed to hang out there, and I'm like, Mom, sorry. She came and left, and the thing was still going on.
It's insane. But those are like the ones that you don't expect it are sometimes the best best nights, right? And then you're streaming for eternity. Yeah.
I mean, that's at the top of my list that I can think of, but I know there's been so many crazy moments on the channel.
So talking about the future now, where do you see yourself going, right? In a year, 3 years, 5 years? I mean, it seems like you've gotten to the point now where you really have found your footing. You know what type of content your audience wants and how to grow. Do you have any like personal goals for the channel or personal goals for YouTube?
For the channel, definitely just to keep growing. I mean, we're at 200 now. I mean, futuristic wise, a million would be nice, but like I'm thinking I like to do small goals, realistic goals first. So like the next one would be probably 250, then 300, and so on and so forth. I really would like to work on the merch. I just don't have much time to work on the merch aspect of the page, and currently right now we're trying to improve membership. So like we're making kind of like activities and challenges that people are members of the channel. We can kind of have fun and give back a little bit. So YouTube wise, that's kind of it. I would like to expand to some other platform. I mean, Facebook is my secondary one. I haven't had too much time or luck with TikTok, or people are monetizing on Twitter now. That's the thing, but it's like 5 million impressions over 3 months. So it's kind of a big requirement. But I think that's short-term wise. I think that's where I'm going. Just keep growing, keep grinding, experimenting a little bit, because the car chases was kind of an experiment. Like, not many people until I started doing it that do true crime start doing chases as well, and I feel like that kind of caught on a little bit. And the standoffs too. The standoffs are really interesting as well. So just growth, just grinding and growth.
Yeah, no, 100%. And then shifting gears and talking about some advice for other creators. If you were going to give one piece of advice to somebody that is a YouTuber or is thinking about starting their own YouTube channel, what would it be?
One piece of advice, it would be hard to just give one.
Or a couple. Yeah.
Couple? Well, the first thing I would say, the first one I would say is, if you're thinking about starting, just start. Because I think a lot of people get caught in, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to plan this perfect thing, I'm going to have this editing stuff and computer stuff and camera stuff. You really don't need much. You could just use your cell phone. I learned everything on my own. You can slowly teach yourself to edit, crop stuff, whatever. That'd be my first one. Also realize that the online, just everything online is saturated. There's probably thousands of people doing the same thing. So you have to try to be unique in yourself. Protect your private information at all costs. I tell that to people all the time, and they don't take you serious until their family or they're getting doxxed or people putting their kids out there. So protect.
But if you use Data Seal,
yeah, I do. I use Data Seal.
Right.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I do use Data Seal.
Is there a promo code for Data Seal?
Yeah, 5 off all.
5 off all. There you go.
Yeah, and there's a link for that too. I'll send you the link.
Okay, good.
And the thing with that privacy stuff too, it's only as safe as for example, when I told you that story that I my LinkedIn was out there with my job, there's nothing anybody can do. You put that information, you start saying your phone number, your address, it's already out there. These services aren't going to be able to help you. So it's not 100%. So you have to be careful of what you say. Even just saying how old you are. Yeah. People might have your name and they're not sure what your date of birth is. And you say, oh, I'm 30 something. Okay. Now they found out all your information. They confirmed. Thank you for confirming your age and state and all that. So definitely protect your information. And I would say to avoid drama with other YouTubers if you can. I noticed that some YouTubers, they're just caught up in this endless drama and they really kind of stay stagnant in growth. I would avoid that. And then what I would say too is if you find a niche, try to find trending topics in it if you can. And if you can, be the first to talk about it. If something just comes out, be the first to talk about it, as long as you can confirm the information. You don't want to put out bad information, but if you can jump ahead of everybody else, you might actually draw in a bunch of people that are wanting to first be there and hear about it and see it. So I would recommend that. And then also don't compare yourself unless it's like educational and you're like looking at something or somebody, you're like, oh, I like this, or oh, you know what, I can improve that. But when you start to be like, damn, this guy has, I don't know, 1 million subscribers, I'm never gonna do this, you start putting yourself down, it's just, you're gonna get nowhere. I would just not even look at all if that's gonna hinder you. So that would be some of the tidbits, I guess.
Yeah, I love that. That's great advice. So in the true crime space, there seems to be a trend of sensationalizing news, right? Or creating an echo chamber for conspiracy theories. Right. You and your content, you almost take the perspective of like you're the middleman, where you're sharing what's going on, but oftentimes we don't hear your opinion as much as you're just showcasing what's happening. What made you decide to do that when there's such an easy way to get clicks and views, but you're losing the authenticity? It seems like you've never been persuaded to go the clickbait route, and that's probably part of the reason that you have such a loyal community.
Right. Well, I mean, I just try to be, one of the first things really that comes to mind is kind of lawsuits. I try to be a little bit careful. Some people online don't realize they can actually be held accountable for things they're stating as a fact, and that's happened a couple of times. But
TikTok lady from the Koberger case,
that's
right?
literally what I was thinking. Literally what I was thinking. I don't know. I've always just tried to be balanced, but then there's times too where it's like you can't, like just some things that are just so egregious. I used to, when I first started doing YouTube and covering these types of stories, I used to get very angry. I used to be screaming after this person. I used to get very, because I couldn't believe it. And then after a while, I realized
that the people that committed the crimes.
Yeah, the people that committed the crimes. Yeah, but after a while, I realized that like it's just not productive. It's not getting anywhere. I was just feeling frustrated, and I'm better just spreading the information and sharing the story. But I used to get very, very emotional. Like Malia Davis was a really tough one for me. Gannon Stalk, we covered the trial, and that was last year, I think, I don't remember, it was 2023 or 2022. Everything's all together, but at the end of that, the judge was crying, the parents were crying. I was crying on stream. People that were watching, we were all crying together. It's just really, really emotional. So it's hard to like not get intertwined sometimes emotionally and want to say things. But I just think over time I've learned that we can do better by trying to somewhat just present the information. Sometimes I'll make fun of the conspiracy stuff because some of the things just get so crazy, with some of these conspiracy stuff.
Well, and there's whole channels dedicated to feeding that information. Yeah. And you go there and you listen for a couple minutes and you realize like everybody's insane, right? Like they're there to be fed what they want to be true, but they know it's not true for the most part. People have a really hard time like digesting Occam's razor, that sometimes things just happen. Sometimes things are just an accident, or sometimes it's not the craziest thing that people are suggesting it is, and it gets really dirty because I've seen some people go after families or like straight out accusing people like the TikTok lady or random college professor, and now we're starting to see sometimes the repercussions of that where people are getting sued and getting fired, getting evicted. Yeah. So do you have any final words to the iCkEdMeL fans out there? No, just that I appreciate the support from everybody all these years later. And I never thought I'd be doing what I'm doing now. It's just like amazing. I would also say too, just in general for YouTubers, don't assume that this is forever. Like there's so many things with online now. They could delete my channel. I could get demonetized. During Johnny Depp, I had 2 strikes. 1 strike, my whole channel would have been gone. Like nothing's guaranteed. It was, I think it was for violence because I showed like a fighting video on Reddit. We used to have like the end of time streams. I have to like filter now when we do. I used to like to react in person to those types of videos, but now because if you're showing fighting, they might actually give you a strike. So I had 2 strikes for that, and I was nervous. I thought it was a break during the trial. You couldn't stream. Yeah, I couldn't stream. Right? I jumped on Facebook. It was horrible. I jumped on Facebook. It was a mess. So definitely like nothing's guaranteed. That's the kind of risk. That's one of the biggest things I learned too, honestly, with becoming a YouTuber is that you have to take risk, even in life. I mean, calculated risk. But if you're always playing it safe, that's what I did most of my life. You're going to be just in that circle for the rest of your life. You got to step outside and try to do something else. And that's what I wanted to show my daughter. And that's why she was on my channel when we first started. She was on there a lot. There's these videos of me feeding her, all these little moments that we had together because I wanted to almost like eternalize her and myself and some of our relationship, even though now I can't really have that too much on here, and that's on Instagram. But I also feel like that about the subscribers. That's why when a lady told me her son had passed away in a car accident, she wanted me to post the picture, share the story, caution everybody to drive. So sometimes I literally make people a part of the channel. Yeah. Well, and they feel you make everyone feel like they're part of the channel because of the community, right? So right. Kudos to you and the person that you are and the coverage that you do. Right. Well, thank you so much for doing this. Yeah, this is fun. Appreciate it, man. Take care. All right.